Today, we're diving into something we all want more of: confidence. I'm not talking about that fake it till you make it kind, but real, solid confidence that actually helps you learn and grow. For a long time, we thought we had the answer. But what if we've been on the wrong track all along? You know, for years, if you asked anyone in education, or even in the business world, how to build confidence and drive success, you'd get the same answer: growth mindset. It's an idea that completely took over. But here's the thing we're going to get into. What happens when you take that super popular idea and really put it to the test with some serious science? The results might surprise you. So first, let's just quickly recap the promise of growth mindset. What was this simple yet incredibly powerful idea that got everyone so excited? At its heart, the theory is super straightforward. It's basically a tale of two mindsets. On one side, you've got the fixed mindset. This is the belief that your smarts, your talents, they're just fixed traits. You've got what you've got, and that makes people shy away from challenges. Why risk looking dumb, right? But on the other side, you have the growth mindset. This is the belief that you can get smarter, that your abilities can grow with effort. And this, in theory, makes you want to take on challenges and see effort as the whole point. You can see why this was such a hit, especially in schools. And listen, the claims for this went way beyond just helping kids pass a math test. We're talking huge promises. Proponents said it could help solve social conflicts, make people less aggressive, improve race relations, even just give you more willpower. I mean, look at this quote. The idea was that this wasn't just an educational tool. It was a fix for, well, almost everything. So, with a promise that big, you'd expect the evidence to be absolutely rock solid, right? But that's where the story takes a turn. When researchers started digging in and looking at all the studies together, they found some pretty serious cracks in the foundation. Which brings us to the billion-dollar question. Do these growth mindset interventions actually work? I mean, if you teach a group of students about having a growth mindset, do their grades actually get better? To figure this out, we're looking at a huge 2022 meta-analysis from McNamara and Burgoyne. They basically rounded up every single relevant study they could find to get the real story. And here it is, the big number from almost 100,000 students. The average effect size was a tiny d equals 0.05. So what does that even mean? It means the impact on academic achievement was next to nothing. To put it another way, there's a 98% overlap between the students who got the training and those who didn't. It's a statistical whisper. Okay, you might be thinking, but what about the studies where the intervention actually worked? The ones that really did change students' mindsets? Surely the effect would be stronger there, right? Well, nope. It actually got even smaller, shrinking to 0.04. And here's the real kicker. When they looked at only the absolute best, most well-designed, highest quality studies, the effect dropped to 0.02. That is so small, it's statistically the same as zero. The best evidence we have says these interventions have no real effect on how well students do in school. So why did we all believe it so strongly? Well, the researchers point to a few things. A big one is publication bias. Studies with exciting, positive results get all the attention, while the ones that find nothing just get buried. A lot of the early studies were also just poorly designed. And this is a big one. Researchers who had a financial stake in it, selling books, giving paid talks, they reported effects that were 2.5 times bigger than independent researchers found. It's a classic case of a good story getting way ahead of the actual science. Okay, so if growth mindset isn't the answer, then what is? This brings us to a much better goal. It's not about just having more confidence, it's about having accurate confidence. Let's call it calibrated confidence. The secret ingredient here is something called metacognition. It sounds complicated, but it's really simple. It's the skill of knowing what you know, and just as important, knowing what you don't know. Think about studying for a test. Metacognition is what allows you to say, okay, I've totally got chapter 2 down, but I am really fuzzy on chapter 4, so that's where I need to focus. It stops you from being overconfident and underprepared, or the opposite, anxious and underconfident when you actually know your stuff. And just look at this chart. This makes it so clear. Remember that tiny 0.02 effect for the best growth mindset studies? We'll now look at the effect for interventions that actually teach students these metacognitive strategies. The effect size is 0.565. That is a huge difference. We're talking about a moderate to large, real, meaningful improvement. It's not a flicker, it's a floodlight. So metacognition gives us an honest look at our skills. But what happens when we look and see that we've messed up, that we've failed? This is where the second piece of the puzzle for real confidence comes in, and it's called self-compassion. Now, it's really important to see the difference between self-esteem and self-compassion. Self-esteem is all about judging yourself. Am I smart enough? Am I good enough? It's based on comparison and can make you either arrogant or insecure. But self-compassion asks a totally different question. How do I treat myself? It's about being kind to yourself when you fail and remembering that struggling is a normal, human part of learning anything new. This is what builds resilience, not arrogance. And the science on this is really strong. A big meta-analysis found a strong negative link, a correlation of negative 0.41, between self-compassion and mental health issues. In plain English, that means the more self-compassion you have, the less anxiety and depression you tend to experience. It's like a psychological shock absorber that helps us bounce back when we hit a bump in the road. All right, so let's put it all together. When you combine these two powerful, evidence-backed ideas, accurately knowing yourself and kindly treating yourself, you get a much better, much more reliable way to build real confidence. So here's the game plan. Genuine confidence isn't about just believing you're awesome. It's a two-part skill. Step 1, you calibrate. You use metacognition to get an honest, clear picture of your actual abilities. Step 2, you practice compassion. When you find those weak spots or you flat out fail, you treat yourself with kindness, seeing it as a chance to learn, not as proof that you're a failure. That's the combo that lets you get back up and actually get better. And that really leaves us with a final question to chew on. What if we've been chasing the wrong thing all this time? What if real, lasting confidence isn't about puffing out your chest and thinking you're the best, but is actually found in that much quieter, much stronger combination of knowing yourself honestly and treating yourself kindly? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.